Let's quickly take you to Cape Town now. That's where the EFF is laying a perjury charge against Cedric Nkabinde. Let's listen in.
And been able to do that. So while we understand, and I think he overused that thing about his gadgets being seized. It was unnecessary. There weren't that many dates, but we do understand that could have been the reason. But not someone who's been in the service since 2004, yet alone a chief of staff for the Minister of Police. It's a no.
There were issues around a conflict when Lisa Schikkerling, the alternate member of the DA, laid a similar complaint against Cedric Nkabinde in the same police station. Are you not worried that maybe you might also have an issue of a conflict when it comes to Nkabinde coming back to Parliament and you sitting in during that hearing?
But there's no conflict. We concluded even as a committee, that this was perjury and that he misled it. So there's nothing conflict. And for the DA to withdraw her for conflict of interest is neither here or there. We don't understand why they took that decision, yet Collard Barnard is still there. It makes no sense.
What does the EFF hope to achieve from a perjury charge? I mean, it's not necessarily a charge that is taken seriously. And
you see.
Rightfully said that Parliament is not being taken seriously. Yeah. So in the end, what do you hope to achieve? I mean, given the circumstances and given the situation that we are in, I mean, to see this question is...
And this is the time that we need to make sure that we are being taken serious, and the EFF is going to follow up on this. Perjury, you can't say it can't be taken serious. It should be, and we are going to make sure that that is exactly what happens.
Are you guys lenient on other witnesses that perhaps gave you guys inaccurate information? For example, that had to correct their earlier submissions, like Mpanazi. I know he's coming back at a later stage. They declared that there are some things that he didn't remember exactly. Are you being harsh on Nkabinde and lenient on other witnesses?
I don't, but the issue with the Lieutenant General, but you'd also remember when he started his statement, right? We even adjourned for a good 3 or 4 hours because he came with a statement that was from the Commission. So you cannot say that as the EFF we have not been fair, number one. Number two, it only came to light during Becky Cele's statement that Lieutenant General gave incorrect information. The President, Commander-in-Chief was the first one to stand up and say there must be apology, he must come back here and he has to amend the statement. So when he comes back, we will make a decision on whether we also need to go and open a case. Remember, the Chief of Staff, straight out, he said that he was samsaking. We didn't get the same thing from the other witnesses.
You've obviously sent Nkabinde away to go and fix his sworn statement. On the other hand, you've applied for an extension to extend the work. These 1 month extensions, do you think they are realistic? I mean, in your view, do you think you're giving yourself enough time, given that there's frequent new names that have been mentioned? What do you think would be a realistic time frame for the commission's work? And then just a second question, the evidence leaders indicating that they will be consulting Mr. Matrala tomorrow. There's obviously voluminous work that they say. Do you think you'll be able to secure his appearance at the end of the month?
We will. We have no choice but to secure the appearance. I don't think that is even an issue. He's just chilling there in Kosi Mampuru prison. So whenever we are available, he's going to be available. It's not like he's busy selling drugs or facilitating tender fraud or anything like that. In terms of the extension, we are going to have a meeting as a committee. We've all committed that we need to have an end date in sight. I think now we have a better understanding of what it is that we need to achieve. The only big thing that we have now to consider is the public submission, so we'll be able to do that. But Parliament is not going to rush us through the process, and the Speaker is not going to do that. They're not going to tell us they do not have money when they have money for the Commission. It is here in Parliament where budgets are approved, not the Treasury. And this is something, the rot is very deep. So for them to think we are just going to steamroll a process to tick a box and say, yeah, Parliament did something, it's not going to happen under the EFF watch. This thing is going to be done. It's going to be done properly. We are all very tired. It's very tiring sitting there until 12, 1 o'clock, and then we have some members of Parliament who just ask nonsense over and over. But it's something that we have to endure because we want to root out this rot, and we want to send a strong message to politicians, to criminals, to the cartels, that one day is one day.
There have previously been concerns around Nkabinde's suitability in the position of Chief of Staff. And as you mentioned now, you're saying that so much for Chief of Staff that's been with mini servants since 2004. Do you think that this is indicative of the unsuitability or his lack of qualifications in this regard?
In terms of the position of Chief of Staff, I think we kind of have a bit of a different understanding. It's really a position of trust with whoever your principal is. So in terms, really it comes down to that. Look, on paper and even the credentials and his educational requirements, I mean, he was an IPED investigator at some point. So it seems to be aligned, whether on the practical level, whether he had capacity to be an actual Chief of Staff, I don't know. But generally, ministers, deputy ministers, they choose their Chief of Staff more based on we need to have someone who we can trust. And remember, it's mainly in their personal office rather than their political office as well.
Just the last one from Eliane. What should we now make of the other testimony ahead of the Brown Mogotsi dates that he got mixed up, particularly his closer relationship with General Mkhwanazi? The other stuff, are we starting from scratch now when he testifies? Because we have the statement, we have a bit of what he already started testifying before the committee.
I'm sure that would be still included in the statement. I don't imagine him changing the statement drastically. But yeah, we will start from scratch as well, yes. Thank you.
Master, I want to know if you remember me.
All right, Tonati, I'm going to try and make my way in front of the camera as I walk out of the media scrum. Yeah, of course, that's Leanne Matthys, who is the EFF Deputy Secretary General, of course, confirming that they've laid a perjury charge against Mr. Cedric Nkabinde, who is the Police Ministry's Chief of Staff. He's currently on special leave to give him time to prepare for both the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry as well as the ad hoc committee here in Parliament. Of course, he's been accused of deliberately misleading Parliament in terms of the time when he met Brian Mogotsi. On that note, Unati, it's back to you in studio.